Well, last season we did have a good group of freshmen that came in. We also lost a bunch of seniors. Um, for cross country, I don't think that last year was really the season we hoped. We had won the championship for the women in 2017 and thought we could do it again last year. The weather wasn't great, and that kind of got into my girls' heads a little too much, and they just didn't bring it on that day as well as Keene did. I think we learned a lot from that. I think we grew. On the other hand, the guys, I think, really moved up last year, and with the really three new freshmen, Ryan, John, and JoJo, I think now they know what to expect, and we're going to see a whole different team this year because collegiate cross country is so different from high school cross country, and now that they've been through one season, they're going to really be strong leaders and be able to take us to another level, I hope. We sit down before the season, and it's a little hard because you're just coming out of track season and you're thinking about cross country. But going into the cross country season, we do sit down and we talk about how important taking a couple weeks off after track, but then really getting into building a base of good miles and running. I mean, what do you do to prepare for cross country? You run, basically. We give them some strength training to do also. But once we do that and we give them the program, it's really up to them to do it. And that can be tough. I mean, there's so many things that come into it with summer jobs, hot weather, family vacations, not having your teammates to run with. It's challenging. Preseason is really important to us, I think, for a bunch of reasons. First of all, it's a great time for team bonding. Obviously, it's all they have to do. They don't have to worry about school during that time. So we have team dinners. We do all our running together. It brings the freshmen in. They get to know their teammates, their new coach, their new lifestyle of living in dorms. All of that, I think, is really important. Preseason's tough, and I deliberately make it pretty tough because I want them to know what they're going to have to do in those first 5 days back, so that hopefully they do train so that they're ready for it. I mean, the first day the guys are going to do a 10-mile run, the girls an 8. But the second day we run up Mount Greylock in Massachusetts, which is 8 miles uphill. At the top, we have a little break and enjoy the fact that we made it up, and then we run halfway back down. We pick them up halfway back down. So it's a solid 12-mile tough run, and if they're not prepared for it, it's not going to be fun. But if they are prepared for it, it's going to be like awesome. It's just going to feel like such a challenge to get to the top. The view is spectacular, and no hill around here is going to feel like a big deal after that. Things that we did really well last year, I think in general for cross country, we've kind of become known for running as a pack, and we don't have necessarily that number 1 or number 2 runner at the race. But if we have number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or even broken up a little bit, but the girls are pretty much together, and I'm saying girls because so far they've been the more successful. I think that's going to change this year. But if we can come in close together like that, then you're still going to score really well in the meet. So we work on pack running a lot. We work on running together as a team. We work on supporting each other. For the guys, like I said, we had 3 strong freshmen last year, plus Max Chase, a junior, and Brian Balkas, a junior, this year, who, they're going to form a really strong top 5, and I think pull along the others into that same pack mentality. Things we want to adjust, I think. I don't know, that's kind of a tough one. There's always adjustments as the year goes on, as you get to know the personalities of the athletes. Sometimes people think you just need to look up a running plan on Google or whatever, but it's really looking at the individual, who's a little more fatigued, who's not. And I think the mental toughness, like I said, we broke down a little bit at the conference championships. We talked about it a lot afterwards. We'll continue to talk about it this year. And I just think being mentally tough is one of the biggest things that we can do to bring ourselves back to the top. Laurie's hired a nutritionist to come in. I think that's going to be huge, especially for cross-country runners. They've got to be following the right nutrition to have the energy to run well each day. So those are some of the things we're going to work on. Yeah, you're right. We had some great leaders last year. We lost some great talent, especially on the women's side. Ryan was a great leader. At least we only had one senior on the guys' side. But I think that the culture of our team has continued to develop. I'm going into my 8th year being back here, and it's getting stronger each year because the athletes that I recruit know what I expect when they come in. They run under great leaders for their freshman, sophomore year, and then even though that leader graduates, they've still got that culture that they're building on, and we just continue to build on that. And we do a lot of community service. I think that's important to our team because running's a lifetime sport. It's something that I hope they want to do for their whole life. And so, one thing we're doing this year, this may be a little bit off topic, but one thing we're doing this year is on Saturday of preseason, there's a relay race from Providence to Hartford. It's 95 miles, all on the East Coast Greenway, which comes right through Willimantic. So our team's monitoring a 12-mile section of it, helping the relay with handing out water, making sure that the exchanges go okay, all of that, but also cleaning up the trail. We run on that trail every day, so we feel like giving back both to the running community and to the Willimantic and neighboring towns community is really important for us. And I think just kind of building that attitude of helping each other, helping the running community, it just pays off in making us a stronger and more bonded team. And hopefully that's something that not only will they carry through their 4 years here, but through their whole life. Yeah, our first meet, like you said, our first meet is really quick after we start, just over a week. I'm not going to take everybody to that meet. I'm going to see who came back in shape, who did the work over the summer, and we're going to make some decisions on who actually gets to race. And I think one advantage that I have this year is that we have a lot of athletes that came out for the team. It keeps getting bigger. Some years we've only had 7 guys. You need 7 guys to run, so I can't really enforce any time standards. This year we have 20 guys that want to run and 14 girls. If they're not ready to run the 10 miles the first day, if they're not ready to run a certain time for a 5K or a 3-mile race, then they won't be competing right away. And I'm hoping that kind of helps them also to see how important it is to come back in shape and ready to go. Another difference that we did this year is after Keene, we don't have another meet. We take 2 weeks off, so we really have 3 weeks of training before our next meet, which is UMass Dartmouth. And that's going to really give us an opportunity to get people that didn't come back in their best shape into shape and ready to go. I think it also pushes off when we peak, so hopefully they're in their best shape come LEC and regionals. NCAA regionals are 2 weeks after the LEC. Both those meets are in November. So hopefully by kind of pushing off the competition a little bit, it brings us into our best shape later in the year. I am really excited to see the 6 new freshmen girls that we have. We have a great class of girls coming in. We kind of seem to flip-flop. Last year we had a great class of guys coming in. This year we have a great class of girls, which obviously we need because, as you mentioned, we lost 3 of our top runners, female runners last year. And they'll be joined by the returners, a strong group of returners. I think we're going to have a great pack. For the guys, Ryan Escoda and John Walker were 2 of the top freshmen in the conference last year. And I'm just excited to see what they can do now that they know what a collegiate season is like and adding in the other guys. So it should be a great year.